Hello, this is Mr. Ellis. I would like to do a brief video about styling of images and text in the same paragraph. When we look at images in relation to the text that they are in a document with, we like to have that text wrap around the image. This is known as float. I'm going to show you how to float the text and the image together so that the image is embedded in the text. Okay, I have a document here, a line image display. My line image display is going to have a header, which is unstyled, and text that is currently unstyled. I will show you said document, and you can see that it's unstyled, that the characters are very small. It runs from edge to edge on the page, and there are no images. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is style my header, and we discussed this in class. Simple styling can be done on the tag. I could have done it in the style area in the head where the style tags are, but I'm going to use a style attribute on the tag. I want my background color to be light blue. I want my color of the text, remember there is no text color, it's simply color, to be red. And I would like the text to be centered, so text align is used. And I want that to be centered. Now, like I said, this could have been done in the head between the style tag, but I prefer for you to see it in both areas. From this point forward, you can put anything you want in the style. The style attribute on the tag has more control than the style tag itself because it's closer to the element. I'm going to save this and display it. Now let's see, as I reload, you can see I received my styling. Blue background, red letters, all the characters are centered. Okay. Now the content in these two sections will be styled in the style tag. So I'm going to go back to the style tag, and I'm going to place styling for section 1 and for section 2 in the style tag. The styling have been placed in the style tag for section 1 and section 2. Section 1 and 2 have the same styling currently. The width will be limited to 560 pixels. Word wrap means that inside that 560 pixels, if you run past that on a current line, which it does, it will wrap inside there. Now, the value for word wrap, there are two values. Normal will just simply run on, but break word takes words that go past that limit and move it to the next line. Font size, like I said, I don't like the smallness or the size of the font that we're using in that browser, so I made it 20 pixels. Okay, and that's the same style for section 1 and section 2. Let me save this and go here and look at it. Now you can see that we have limited the width and that we have two sections with readable font size. Now, the rest of this video will be concerning the images. I will review the image tag, and then I will show you how to float the image into this text. I've used two images from a generated content that I use. Okay. Image tag has attributes of source. Okay. I've got the style attribute on the image tag. I could have placed it if I was going to do the same with both images. I could have placed it in the style tag area as a tag attribute, like body. Let's do body. Someone asked about body background color, and I like to keep it the same as my header. Now this is a tag selector, body. Okay. I could have used a tag selector for image and styled all of my images the same, and I wouldn't have to have a style attribute on the tag. Well, I'm going to do something different, so I decided that I want to have the information on the tag for my images. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to float the image in from the left hand side of the text. It will be embedded. I'll use the word embedded so you can see before, imagine before you see it what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to put a margin around it so it is separated from the text. The text would be smack up against the image if I hadn't put this margin in. I'm going to display it in a height of 200 and a width of 200. Okay. I have two images. Okay. And I'm going to use the same attributes to start here. So I'm going to save this. And we have the same attributes. Bear in mind that these images are different and they will be displayed in separate sections. So you can see my margin here puts a little border around margin around the image so that the text and the image is not flat up against each other. Okay, I have used a different image, but you can see the border here. And now what I want to do is I want to change this from float left, where it's embedded in the left side of the column, to float right. And I'm simply going to change the value of my float attribute, and I saved it. If I go back, and now if I reload it, you can see it's moved to the right. Okay. Now, in your assignment called magazine, you will be required to use images and text tags. You will write a report on, say, the Arch or the St. Louis Zoo. Okay. Content you can gather from web pages, but I would like you to use these technologies. The last thing I want to do is use positioning on this second section so that we have columnization. Okay, there is an attribute in jQuery that allows us to use columns, but this is the old-fashioned way. I'm going to use positioning. Okay, and positioning I talked about in class allows me to move any section I would like, or div. I want to get that old term in there. Any div that I want, I'm going to use it on section 2. I'm going to place it in section 2's attributes in the style tag. My positioning of section 2 is absolute. As you recall in class, we discussed the relative positioning. Relative means where the element is currently located, apply these changes, meaning that I'm going to move it top 110 and to the left 560. Well, if it was applied relatively, it would be applied from where the element is currently. Absolute means start in the upper left hand corner and apply these top 110 and left 580. Okay. And all I want to do is bring them even, hopefully anyway. So save and go back. And as I reload this, you can see now that I have two columns, your assignment will not need to be columnized, but it is a good idea to practice your positioning. We will start JavaScript shortly, so we won't have time to go into all of the aspects of CSS, but we will, as we encounter them, discuss them. This has been Mr. Ellis, giving you a brief video on image styling